Ah yes, Amiibo Festival. People went hard on this game, and I'm here to tell you, as a fan of Animal Crossing myself, that yes, it's a terrible game. That's all. Jokes aside, I'm not ending it here. Amiibo Festival may be a bad game to many people, but what makes it so bad? Well, now we're going to find out what makes it so bad. But first, a backstory. Animal Crossing. One of Nintendo's best franchises of all time. It's a game about life. You move into a village filled with talking animals, get a new house, pay off your debt, being forced to work part-time at a store. The game has it all. However, what I think that makes this game unique is its utilization of the real-time clock data from each console. The first entry of the series was only released in Japan for the Nintendo 64 under the title Doubutsu no Mori. When translated literally, it means animal forest. Then moving on to the GameCube, just a shy of 8 months from the Nintendo 64 release, Nintendo ported the N64 game and releasing it under the title Doubutsu no Mori Plus, with some tiny updates and minor changes, such as making the game running at 60 FPS. A year later, North America finally got their heavily localized version of Doubutsu no Mori under the title Animal Crossing. It was a major success, and because of this, Nintendo decided it would be wise to re-release the game only in Japan again at full price, while adding some new stuff under the title Doubutsu no Mori E+. This is DLC before it was DLC, and for some reason, it sold pretty well in Japan. Moving over to the DS and Wii era, Animal Crossing Wild World, or Oideo Doubutsu no Mori, and Animal Crossing City Folk, or Animal Crossing Let's Go to the City, or Machie Ikoyo Doubutsu no Mori, was released respectively. The game is not that different from its predecessor, but the only major difference is that now the player no longer wears a Viking hat. Then moving over to the 3DS era, Tobidase Doubutsu no Mori, or Animal Crossing New Leaf, was released in 2012, and it is arguably one of the best Animal Crossing games out there. In terms of the plot, it is a major overhaul compared to its predecessors. Instead of living in a town led by an old crooked turtle mayor, this time, you are the mayor of the town. You can pretty much do whatever you want, such as putting a clock in the middle of nowhere, and because of this, the game is a major success. Now let's fast forward and enter the 3DS and Wii U era of Nintendo, also known as the year of Nintendo struggling to keep up. Somewhere around in June 2014, Nintendo at E3 announced that they would be making plastic toys that had NFC chips on its base, officially named Amiibo. Bill Trinen explained that these figures are not just toys, but rather an accessory for your game that can be used in many different ways. For example, in Smash Bros., Amiibo figurines act as a spirit player, where you can train them to become stronger. Later, a Nintendo Direct on April 1st, 2015, Nintendo announced Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, set to release in mid-2015. It's a spin-off of the Animal Crossing series, where you work as a home designer at a real estate agent owned by Tom Nook himself. Happy Home Designer is an okay game to me. I can tolerate the lack of content due to it being a spin-off, but critics weren't happy about it, and it received pretty mixed reviews in the US. However, on that same Nintendo Direct, Nintendo also announced Animal Crossing Amiibo cards, which are these thin cardboard pieces that had NFC chips inside, designed around Animal Crossing characters, and I think that is a genius move. There are a lot of characters in Animal Crossing, and making a trading card out of it is just so smart. Nintendo announced that there will be 4 series of Animal Crossing Amiibo cards at the time, and the first game that will make use of it is Happy Home Designer. This could be a sign that Nintendo is going to make a full-blown Animal Crossing game that had Amiibo support. I mean, heck, they might as well bring Animal Crossing to the Wii U, which could be the first ever mainline Animal Crossing game in crystal clear 1080p HD. Well, they've done this before back in 2013 with Animal Crossing Plaza, which is an app specifically for Animal Crossing community and New Leaf players to be able to view posts about a character that springs into the plaza and share dream addresses or dream codes for use with New Leaf. No, I don't want this. I want a full-blown Animal Crossing game, not some janky-ass social media platform that is then removed a year later. Well, a few months later, E3 2015 on September arrived, and Nintendo had a digital event on that same day. Apart from being showcased at some boring-ass spin-offs and anime games, it was until around the 30-minute mark where the real sauce is. First, we got Animal Crossing cameos in Super Mario Maker. Then Nintendo reminds you about the existence of Happy Home Designer and Amiibo cards. But then, it happened. A Wii U gamepad is shown on the screen, then it shows an Isabelle amiibo figurine being scanned to the gamepad. Holy shit! It finally happened! Animal Crossing amiibo figures exist! But what about the game? Oh, the game could be a brand new installment to the series, or the game could be a spin-off that's definitely not a board game or some sort. It's a fucking board game. A Nintendo Treehouse livestream shortly after the Direct showcased Amiibo Festival, featuring the director of the game, Aya Kyogoku. Kyogoku is known for her involvement in the script writing for The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess and directing Animal Crossing New Leaf, so there may be some hopes here that the board game might be good. Well, according to an interview to the director, Amiibo Festival exists because they just want Animal Crossing amiibo figures to exist in the first place, so they made a game that makes use of it, albeit forcefully. Yeah, this game didn't do that well. Looking at the comments section on the same Treehouse video, there were a lot of people who are disappointed by the announcement, and it's also funny looking at the like to dislike ratio of the video. Apparently there were some rumors regarding if the software for Amiibo Festival was a free game download and you only need to buy the amiibo figurines. I mean, back then I also had the same thought because it's just a fucking board game and nothing else. I spent like $16 on the game alone. So this is the box art for Amiibo Festival. Say what you will about this game, but I feel like this is the cutest box art of Animal Crossing that I've ever seen. Opening up the game, we have the game disc itself and 3 free amiibo cards. Well, I can't say it's free. These 3 amiibo cards are worth $16 alone. Well, it's safe to say that I got pretty lucky myself for being extremely late to the party, because back in 2015, this game plus the amiibo bundle itself would cost $60. Ah, this is also a great opportunity to mention the amiibo figures too. I bought the game only with no amiibo bundle, and now I think I will have to buy the amiibo figurines. Alright, after shelling out a couple bucks, I think this is enough. And I mean it when I say a couple. These amiibos are pretty cheap online. But there's a problem, specifically for me. Since I live in a country where Nintendo is barely recognized, Animal Crossing amiibos or any amiibo figurines in general are pretty hard to find, especially on local marketplaces. And even if they have one, usually they command outrageous prices. That's why I only have 7 Animal Crossing amiibo figures. And why not throw in Villager from Smash as well, since I think it fits. I bought these back at 2021 and they were pretty cheap at the time. 8 of these amiibos cost roughly $50, with Villager being the most expensive one. And now whenever I search for Animal Crossing amiibo on Tokopedia, the prices for these amiibos are pretty expensive compared to 3 years ago. For example, the price for a Lottie amiibo costs $8, a winter outfit Isabelle costs I don't want to pay for this price, Mabel is now listed for what the hell, and Summer Isabelle is listed for holy fucking shit. I picked up some Animal Crossing amiibo cards back when I was at Japan because prices are messed up here, and they're all in Japanese, so that'll be perfect for this English video. Each pack comes with 3 cards, and I think it's much more fun collecting the amiibo cards than buying the figurines. After opening these up, I got Samu, Yamato, Kenzo, Yep, these are definitely cardboard boxes with NFC chips inside them. And now I'm left with 37 cards in total, with 9 of them incompatible for Amiibo Festival, 3 of them bundled for Amiibo Festival, and 1 of them free from Happy Home Designer. Alright, now that I have the necessary Amiibo figures and Amiibo cards, and I have the game itself, and with the game nearly being 10 years old, I think we can take a look and play the game in order to find out if it's really bad or not. Popping in the game to the disk drive and booting it up. Yeah, it's an Animal Crossing board game. Amiibo Festival was released in November 13, 2015 in North America, a week later in Europe, and a day later in Japan and Australia. During its first week of release in Japan, it only sold for around 20,000 copies, which proved Amiibo Festival to be a commercial failure. Estimated lifetime sales of the game is around 490,000 copies, making it the lowest selling Animal Crossing game worldwide. Upon release, the game received a 46% on Metacritic and a relatively low score on most American rating websites. But for some reason on Famitsu, Amiibo Festival received an 8 out of 10 rating, with most of the reviews saying that the board game is a fun concept. Yeah, I agree. The board game is a fun concept. Alright, let's start. do I start? Oh great. I need to have an amiibo to start the game. If you only buy the game tells you to go f*** yourself. Good thing I bought some plastic toys. Alright, first up, let's use the Isabelle amiibo. Oh. If I don't give two fucks about my Smash Bros. Save file in the amiibo, I probably would have deleted it by now. But here I am not deleting it. Alright, fine, we'll try another one. Upon booting the game for the first time, you are introduced to the board game. There are different months to choose from, with each of them having different seasons and events. The board game consists of 4 different seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter, each depending on the month chosen. Each month has different events which are important to the core parts of the board game. Jumping into the board game, and this game is telling me that 4 souls will require an hour and 15 minutes to finish the goddamn game. Well, you could at least set a time limit, but come on, it's not the pure and raw Amiibo Festival experience. The goal of the game is simple: collect the most happy points and bells to win the game. To start, tap a corresponding amiibo to roll the dice to move between spaces. Pink spaces can either give you happy points, bells, or both. Purple spaces can either make you lose happy points, bells, or both. They all have stories in them that tells you as to why you gain or lose happy points, bells, or both. Each corner of the map has a stamp station where you can get bonus happy points. If you complete the stamp, you'll get 30 bonus happy points. Every Sunday you get to buy turnips, and you get 10 turnips for free on the first Sunday. You can buy these turnips in packs of 10 and sell them at the stock market, which only opens on weekdays. Every now and then you see prices for turnips can sometimes be stable, fluctuating, or downright depressing. You want to sell your turnips in days that are steady or fluctuating, as these days will make you the most profits. This is probably the only fun factor that you'll get out of the board game, because it allows you to be strategic on when you can sell your turnips and get the most profit out of your investment. But don't keep your turnips for too long, because if you keep them till Saturday, you'll be forced to sell them on whatever space you land on. Sometimes events happen in the middle of the game, and random spaces are changed to trigger the event. For example, at times, Katrina will pay a visit. Some spaces will be changed to a Katrina space, and when you land on it, you'll get a fortune card, which sets fate on you whether if someone rolls a die, you either get or lose happy points, bells, or both. And here are other events that I found which I couldn't be bothered to explain them in this video. Once all players have their turn, the game moves on to the next day and you roll the dice again, repeat till it's the end of the month, bells are then converted to happy points and whoever has the most happy points wins. Once you're done, you can save your game progress to your amiibo to unlock new costumes and emotes for the amiibo character. I gotta admit, the costume bit is a cute little touch, but the emote is the most useless addition. Nintendo, this is a party game, meant to be played in a single room filled with people. People can just let their reactions out in the real world. Why would you waste time, space, and resources to develop an emote system? And that's it! I'm all out of positive things to say about the board game. And from this point on, you're gonna hear me whining about the flaws of this game. It's your fault for picking this video, and there's no turning back. First off, the controls. Scan the amiibo to roll the dice. Scan an amiibo to accelerate a car. Using the amiibo to roll the dice is extremely unintuitive because you would have to constantly grab the amiibo and touch it on the gamepad just to move the damn character. Not only that, when there are multiple paths, you then have to use the stick to choose a direction and press A to move to the direction you want, and that creates a whole lot of unnecessary movement on my arms and it is extremely tiring and cumbersome. If the direction options are on the touchscreen, then I probably wouldn't have any problems at all. But for some reason they decided to put the card item on the touchscreen and touching it doesn't even do a damn thing and I would have to use the stick to use the item! Now, in certain circumstances where you don't have enough amiibo but want to invite more people to the play, the remaining player can choose a human villager, and to roll the dice, they just press and hold the A button. Am I allowed to be mad? Nintendo, for the love of God, why can't you let the other players suffer the same fate as me? Because if I want to roll the dice, I have to take the amiibo, place the amiibo on the NFC reader, lift the amiibo from the NFC reader, and sometimes use a stick to change my direction, and then place the amiibo down again. As for the villager player, they just press and hold the A button, and lift the A button to move. You don't get as much precision when you're using an amiibo because not many people know the exact proximity distance of an NFC antenna, and in terms of timing, not everyone will just yank the amiibo out of the NFC reader violently just to stop rolling the dice. At least they don't get one happy point for not using the amiibo to roll the dice though. All that effort to roll the dice with an amiibo is rewarding when you at least get one happy point. Secondly, the board game. Roll the dice, move spaces, other player rolls the dice, move between spaces, then another player rolls the dice and move between spaces. That's the entire game. There's no minigames or anything, absolutely nothing that's fun to spice up the gameplay. You just roll the dice with the amiibo over and over again up until the end of the month. It's extremely boring and repetitive. And then there's the board layout. Sure, you get different spaces, seasons, and events, but my god, the layout is dead similar across each month. There's no variety on how the board is shaped or how the spaces are positioned. It's the exact same across all of the months. And there's no way to customize the layout either. Oh, so you're telling me that I can add houses but not change the board game layout? Thanks, Lloyd. Also, this game requires little to no skill at all. It's all pure luck. With how nearly every element of the board game is RNG, you basically constantly hope. For example, you land on a space where turnip values can give you the most stonks, or hope the turnip value won't crash on the next few days. Third, the dialogues. You know how Animal Crossing is a social simulation game, right? So it's understandable for the game to have thousands of text dialogues. I mean, how would a conversation be interesting if they speak in 1 or 2 words? But Nintendo advertised the Amiibo Festival to be a party game, and it's designed to have a quick pace. So why does it have lots of text and dialogues in the game? I can tolerate the story dialogue to have lots of text, but my god, the character talking dialogues are so long, it can be extremely repetitive through prolonged game sessions. I have 4 people in my room at the same time, Nintendo. You don't have to program this game to explain the same goddamn instructions 4 times just to kill our precious time. And that's a recurring theme I see in Amiibo Festival: repetitiveness. With how the board game never changes throughout the entire month, and with how the characters say the same thing over and over again, the game gets pretty boring after a while, and I find myself having to mash the A button on the gamepad, hoping in vain that I somehow skip the entire dialogue. Well, now that I have suffered through the board game, let's finally check out the minigame that Amiibo Festival has to offer. There are 8 minigames in total, and you have to unlock them to gain access to the minigames. And to unlock them, you basically have to grind for happy points for happy tickets. And to get happy points, you have to play the board game. I'll be back! Alright, now that we have unlocked all of the minigames, let's see how worthy they are to redeem themselves. Minigames require amiibo cards. Now, why does it have to be the cards and not the figurines? I have no f***ing idea. First up, we got Acorn Chase. You'll have to maneuver around a maze while collecting acorns scattered around the map to advance to the next round. This one is quite fun, but the problem is that I have to constantly switch amiibo cards to go to different directions, which is tedious. This game is basically an amiibo card swapping contest, but I'll give it a pass because it somehow manages to be more fun than the board game itself. Next, we have Rossetti Bop. This game utilizes the rock, paper, and scissors icon found on each Series 1 to 4 Animal Crossing amiibo cards, but for some reason not the latest Series 5. In this minigame, you'll have to simply play rock, papers, and scissors, but in a whack-a-mole style. Depending on the amiibo card you pick, you'll have to concentrate on what icon comes out of the hole. I actually like this minigame, however though, this minigame is also an amiibo card swapping contest, because you would have to constantly switch amiibo cards just to hit the other holes. But I'll give this one a pass as well. And then we have Balloon Island, where you have to time when the character falls from the sky, pop balloons to get points, and land them on the island. If you don't, the character will drown. This is a fine, high score based game. I'll give this a pass. Next we have Mystery Campers. In this minigame, you'll have to try and guess 4 characters who are in the tent out of the 6 characters that was assigned. I like this one, because it allows you to critically think on which tent has which character based on the correct and close answers you have. I'll give this one a pass as well. After that, we have Fruit Path. In this minigame, you have to collect fruits found on the path. You scan an amiibo card to move based on the amount of spaces you have, which can be found on the amiibo card you used, indicated by the dice icon. I don't know how to describe this minigame, but I certainly don't find the fun in this one. I feel like this minigame is just a filler for the plaza, and not much else. Moving on, we have Amiibo Card Battle. You scan an amiibo card and... I don't understand this one. I don't get it, and I don't want to waste time analyzing too deep in this minigame. Next, Animal Crossing Quiz Show. The perfect game for people who are not Animal Crossing fans. Most of the questions thrown at you are fish, bugs, and museum artifacts related, and I couldn't answer them properly. To answer, you tap the amiibo card when the spotlight points to the character that was assigned. If you tap too early, you're out. When you got your turn, you can select your answers on the gamepad, and might I ask, why does the answer have to be this many? Like, sure, it's to be more challenging, but for the sake of accessibility, why not just have 4 selections? I especially hate the statue and painting analyzing bit. The game asks you to pick which one is fake or real, and it scrolls so slowly, and with the added time limit to think of your answers, it's just not guaranteed to get the correct answer unless if you're lucky enough. Now, you can call for help once, kinda like in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, but to do that, you need to tap an amiibo figurine. And good luck for the character to be knowledgeable, because they may be able to help you on some questions, and at times, they may not be a great help. Overall, a pretty unfriendly quiz show, only for the wildlife, historical, and Animal Crossing nerds. And finally, the last minigame in Amiibo Festival, Desert Island Escape. This is probably the only real video game bundled with an Amiibo Festival. Desert Island Escape is a strategy game where your goal is to help 3 animals escape a deserted island by collecting materials to create a raft before the time runs out. There are many maps to choose from, ranging from easy to hard. To start, you will need 3 Amiibo cards. Each character has different space count and abilities that can help you aid your island escape journey. Throughout the game, there are many obstacles and challenges that you will need to tackle, such as fighting against a big-ass centipede. There are also items and materials scattered around the island to craft tools. These tools can help aid you in certain situations, such as increased survivability chance when fighting against that big-ass centipede. You'll also need to collect food rations, as it is extremely important to create 1 food pack for each animal. Otherwise, if you run out of food, it's game over. Overall, Desert Island Escape is probably the hidden gem in Amiibo Festival, kinda like a hidden treasure in a landfill. It's so good in fact, that in a welcome Amiibo update in New Leaf, alongside Animal Crossing Puzzle League, Desert Island Escape made its appearance, and you don't even need an Amiibo card to play, which makes the 3DS version of Desert Island Escape superior. So Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival is a pretty bad game to many people, and myself included. But is it really that bad though? Sure, the board game was a major disappointment, with absolutely no fun at all and how it barely has any soul, but I personally feel like the game gets way too much hate from the community. Believe me, I tried so hard to hate Amiibo Festival, but the more I play it, the more I realize that maybe this game isn't so bad after all. The board game can be more enjoyable if there are people who overreact due to the random nature of the board game, as shown in this beautiful demonstration. Please just give me a good. Oh my god, none of these are good. Unless if I land a 5. Get it to. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, for fucking. My entire.
Oh, whoa, yo!
City 161, but I can't do anything with it. 140 turnips.
Free duel, right?
Type soul. Oh, no turnips? No turnips? What's your turnips? Money bill.
That is the biggest dumb shit.
No turnips, no balls.
I don't want you.
Buddies.
6. Wow. You will find happiness and love.
What? Buddies.
It's free, dude. It's free.
Also, but still, how has nobody gotten a 6 yet?
I will never get a 6. I will never get a 6.
This ain't no fun, no gambling no more, bro.
No! What? What'd you say?
See, with the power of overreacting, the board game is at least more fun and enjoyable. And then there's the audience appeal. This game is clearly directed towards fans of Animal Crossing, because all the stories that were written within the board game clearly nods to the characters and personalities that were found in the mainline Animal Crossing game. And without prior experience, newcomers probably wouldn't understand what the hell is an ABD, or how Lottie canonically has an uncle named Lyle. The minigames are a fun addition, and certainly does the job of keeping Amiibo Festival from being a boring party game, but the minigames quickly gets overshadowed by the board game itself, due to how you have to play the board game first for many hours just to unlock all of them. Like I said, an Animal Crossing board game isn't a bad idea. The developers can take some elements from Animal Crossing and cram it into a Mario Party style board game, but what stings me the most is that they didn't do anything interesting in the board game itself. Like, come on Nintendo, this is your own IP. There are a lot of possibilities that you can do to make this a fun board game, such as adding mini-games after each turn just for the sake of keeping the fun alive. I can think of a few mini-games, for example, catch the most fish within a certain amount of time, or hit a lawnmower for as many times as you can, like in Tortimal Island and New Leaf. These kinds of mini-games will surely make Amiibo Festival more chaotic and overall fun, but alas, they didn't do it. And then the part that saddens me the most is the amount of time and effort that has to be put to make this game. From a typical audience's standpoint, this game may look like it doesn't took a lot of time to make, but I feel like it's tedious to make this kind of game. There's the thousands of stories on the board spaces that you have to make, then brainstorming the minigame ideas, making the mechanics of each minigame, programming each animal characteristics for Desert Island Escape, adding and assigning each and every single amiibos to the game's local amiibo database, not to mention their dice value, birth date, zodiac sign, and their rock, paper, scissors details. Not many people paid attention to the time and energy it takes to make this possible. And due to how many people cite this product being terrible, the development of this game is oftentimes overlooked. In the end though, it's quite understandable as to why people didn't really like this game. Many people were anticipating for a true successor to New Leaf for the Wii U, but instead, we got New Leaf in HD for the Wii U that wasn't even a mainline Animal Crossing game, but rather a spin-off in the form of a mediocre digital board game, which disappointed a lot of people. And with the suggested retail price of 60 fried rices at launch, as well as how reviews online calling it bad, it's obvious why people didn't buy it. But at the same time, I think it's for the better, because the Wii U wasn't selling well at the time, and it's pretty obvious why Nintendo didn't release a mainline Animal Crossing game on the Wii U. And Nintendo also has already announced their development on a Wii U successor, codenamed Nintendo NX, which would later then become the Nintendo Switch. But Daniel, you might ask, what are your thoughts on Amiibo Festival then? Well, for me, Amiibo Festival is a pretty boring party game. But I actually don't hate it, because as an Animal Crossing fan myself, I truly appreciate seeing these New Leaf characters in HD. The reason I didn't grow full hatred on Amiibo Festival, like many other people on the internet, is because the fact that I feel bad for the people who were involved in the development process of Amiibo Festival. They really worked hard on making this game, only then to get absolutely shitted on the internet. Honestly, I think Amiibo Festival can be fun and enjoyable when you play them with fun friends who can genuinely let their emotions out while playing the game. It's a party game after all, meant to be played with multiple people. But due to the repetitiveness, boring, and the lack of content provided by Amiibo Festival, I just can't see myself going back to this game in the near future. And yeah, that's about it really.